I played 30 matches of Vyse in the highest ranked lobbies in this new act to find out if this agent was good or not. And I can honestly say that Vyse is mid! You know those super early videos people make to get a lot of clicks and they give like the lowest value advice about a character who just came out? Yeah, this isn't it. I wanted to avoid that, so what I did was I insta-locked Vyse non-stop until I felt like I was able to give an honest opinion on the character. At the time of this recording, I have about a 70% win rate on Vyse, and I'm currently Immortal 3. I've played this character against and with players such as Poppin, Hiko, and other Radiants, and I can honestly say that Vyse is an okay agent. He basically is just a combination of a few different agents. Her flash gives info like Sky, but can be pre-placed through walls like Breach flashes. Her slow is like Sage, but better since it lasts longer and does damage, and you can pre-place it so you can have your gun out when you want it to activate. Her wall is like a Sage wall, but it's unbreakable for a short period of time and gives info. Her ultimate is the size of a Killjoy ultimate, and it takes people's ability to shoot back. So on paper, Vyse looks amazing, but how about in practice? On defense, Vyse has a decent pick potential and okay stall potential, but the basic setup everyone figured out is putting a wall somewhere, and when it activates, you use your flash to fight anyone who went past the wall. Assuming the enemy has no brain, sure, that can work for defending sites, but there are a couple counters to the wall and attack. You can hop the wall with satchels or an updraft. If you get high enough in the air over the wall, it won't activate. You can TP or dismiss past it, or you can bait it out by air strafing over it. However, using your wall on site brings up a very, very important issue. Vyse has no flank watch. The wall can act as a trip, but if you use it for site defense, the flank is now open. And even if you do use it as a trip, people could walk past it and take the space beyond it without you knowing if they've actually crossed that line or not. This problem is most apparent on maps where KJ and Cypher are mostly used to hold and get info, places where people usually aren't holding. Maps such as all of them. But to avoid this problem, you could just place the wall in areas where a turret / bot / trip would be, but it's a valuable piece of the kit to hold the site and isolate the duelist from the rest of their team, so pick your poison. On Icebox, you'd have a KJ turret to watch the tube and a bot for under the tube, but if Vyse is your only sentinel, you'd have to run up to here to place an effective wall for mid info, which means you have to pre-place your other util somewhere on the map. So you run over there, place all your utility, now you're sprinting to mid to run up to throw down this wall, and now you have to try going back to play off your own utility, or you got to trust your random teammates to play off your utility, who have no idea how to play off of your utility because they aren't used to a Vyse being on their team. And then on the attacking side, the wall isn't a great trip option either because it only blocks one spot and people can just stand behind it and shoot your teammates. Take for example on B, you guys are going A, you can place this little diagonal wall here, but it doesn't really do you any good because people will still walk up and just start shooting at people that are sitting inside your spawn still. This is probably her biggest problem. But on attack, Vyse is actually pretty useful. When attacking a site, you provide yet another flash to your team and can easily flash for your teammates to enter a site. Flash is pretty easy to shoot, however, but giving the enemy yet another piece of utility to possibly shoot at, it's still pretty useful for the attack. And once you get the bomb down, you can stall retakes very easily with your razor wire because it lasts forever. And if you don't use your wall for flank, you can also use your wall for the retake as well. Honestly, she reminds me a lot of Deadlock. No, not the game. No, I really love this game and hate it at the same time. It's fun and new, but dear God, it is so frustrating. The amount of times I got someone dead to rights in that game just for them to press one button on their keyboard to either full heal or kill me is just unreal. Like late game is just Overwatch Ultimate Simulator with the amount of abilities that can stun me, disarm, sleep, bleed, slow. There is nothing I can do about it, but like, god damn, man. And where the hell are my minions? Hello, my minions. I spend 5 minutes killing all the enemies and my minions are nowhere to be found. They're never pushing up the lanes. Where are they? And they're all killing me. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh, Deadlock. Deadlock feels similar to Vyse in regards to not having great flank / trip utility, but has a decent sight hold and is more viable on the attacking side. But with that being said, once again, maps that people rely on Killjoy and Cypher to give information around the map, Vyse struggles to do alone. And really, it's mostly because most people don't know how to play around it. So do we run a double Senti with Vyse or not? I'll leave that for you guys to decide, but me personally, I hate double Sentinel for the sole purpose that teams play way too passive on defense with 2 Sentinels, which is what I'm going over next. So with all of this in mind, how am I finding success with this agent? How am I able to win games to get around her issues? Well, the answer might be shocking. Communication. Wow, bet you didn't see that coming. Since I'm the one who picked the agent that's off meta, it's my job to let the team know how to play around the problems she creates. Unfortunately, when comp metas form, people only know how to play maps a certain way and cease coming up with new strategies and ideas for when things aren't working. That's where I come in and say to my brain dead teammates, hey, this is going to be an issue this game, we should do this instead. And since I'm in a high elo, usually people want to win and usually they listen, which unfortunately is not the case for most of you. But with that being said, you should continue to try to communicate to your team how they should be playing, because if you just give up, then there's just zero chance of you winning ever. And that's also why I think I'm winning a lot, is that since I am forcing my team to play the map a different way, the other team is also trying to adapt to having a Vyse on the field who actually knows what they're doing. So I'm not going to go over every single Vyse setup and how you should be playing on every single map, because that's just going to take forever. But I will show you how I've been handling things on a particular map, Icebox. So when you don't have a killjoy on this map, you have to worry about here, you got to worry about under, and you got to worry about somebody crossing over here. And usually a Viper will orb this at the start. So what you can do is once the barriers drop, which are back here, you immediately come up, you place this wall. Now, once again, this wall won't tell you if somebody has gone beyond it once it goes up or faked it and went back. So this is one of the huge problems we have with Vyse here. But it will still tell you that somebody's in this area and will put you guys on high alert. Another wall you can do is much deeper but much more dangerous. Is at the start when the orb goes down and they pop it. You come up here and you pop the wall right in this spot. This person will be very close to you when you do it, and they might swing. So this might be an opportunity where you have another teammate immediately run down tube to possibly catch this guy off guard. Now, I don't do this very often. Like I said, it's very dangerous, but it is something you can do. But with the way I play Vyse, I usually say, no, I'm not using my wall for mid. My teammates can handle it. I'll usually try to get my guys to do a 2-2-1 setup. That means 2A, 2 mid, 1 B. And we'll play for mostly retake B, since B is a wide open site and it's pretty easy to retake in my opinion. So I'll come over here and I'll set up for a strong A hold. Now, as we know, A has 1 million angles you gotta watch. Playing here, you gotta worry about this, you gotta worry about this, you gotta worry about a guy coming across the rope, you gotta worry if somebody's sprinting up here. You also gotta worry about this if they're already up and you're trying to re-peek. There's just way too many things that you got to deal with on this A site. And I think Vyse does a very good job at eliminating most of these angles, because she forces the enemy to push through a ton of utility to try and get to you. And I think it makes taking these fights a lot easier. I'll use my wall right at the orb just to see if anybody tries pushing up through this. I'll have one of my barbed wires set up right here so that if anybody tries pushing this, one, I'll hear them on the back side of pipes because this goes through it, as you can see. And then I'll use my other barbed wire for this side to slow anybody pushing the right side towards generator. And now there's a couple things I can do with my flash. I can set up my flash right here. So anybody pushing through the wall and trying to take this fight will inevitably be blinded by this once they get a little bit closer. However, I have to be aware that this will half blind me, and I'm going to do a peek like this. I'm going to pop it, and then I'm going to swing. Now, this flash might not catch people on belt here, so you have to be careful about this. But if you pop the flash and quickly check this and then move on to this guy, you should have a little bit more success. But you're still swinging a lot of angles here. With all this utility, you'll have a good idea as to what angles you should prioritize first. Because I can get noise cues if they're trying to push me here. I get noise cues if they're trying to push further out here. Now, these setups aren't foolproof by any means. They have their flaws. But like I said, you just mix it up and start experimenting where you want to put these flashes and your barbed wire and all that good stuff. Like you can throw it up here, and that flash will blind anybody standing here, on pipes, on belt. It'll catch a lot of people off guard. Like if you want to play close here, throw that one at the start and get a little bit aggressive off the rip. This could be a good way to do it. Another thing we can do, if I'm calling the 2-2-1, I got 2 people on A, 2 people mid, and I'm the B player. What I can do at the start here is I can immediately throw this wall here. I can either leave and go help the mid players, or I can just hold off of this because this wall reaches all the way across this box. So anybody trying to cross this, it'll let me know. Another thing I like doing here is I like to fight yellow. So what I'll do is I'll throw my flash. I'll have my barbed wire set up beforehand. I'm going a little bit out of order. But if they pop the wall and they hear people rushing, they're running up, do this. They're getting closer, blind, fight. Or you can put the flash here so you can swing out a little bit further back, get a little bit better of a fight. This flash will blind anybody trying to jump up on top here or peeking out the sides. I usually like the side flash more. It covers a little bit more area, but you get the idea. I don't like holding mid. Holding mid seems a little bit pointless. On top of that, if I put my util on A, I am trusting that my teammates will tell me when to pop the barbed wire, when to pop the flash, and all that stuff. It just seems kind of pointless. If you're going to tell me that you trust your ranked teammates to play off of Vyse utility, an agent that they're usually not used to seeing, and you think they're going to succeed off of doing that, I would say you're lying. Now on the attacking portion, Vyse's wall is a pain in the ass to use as a trip. You really can't use this wall as a trip. I wouldn't even think of it as a trip. You can put the wall here, people are just going to walk up and hold like this, or hold like this. And even though your team should know that they can walk up to that point and just kill you guys, they won't think about it. They'll just be like, oh yeah, wall trip's there, we're good. And they'll just walk mid like this and die. Same thing with B. You can put the wall here at a bit of an angle. If you guys are slamming A, you have to kind of commit to it, because if you don't commit to that A hit and you're like, all right guys, let's back out. Not only do you now have to cross mid, you have to cross, teammates are going to cross out like this, and guess what? They're standing behind the wall, just ready to take this fight. So what I will instead do is designate my Viper or whoever I think is a good lurker to just simply watch the flank or quickly get back to watching flank. What we'll do is we'll attack site, hug this wall. The opper might be Jen. You can throw the flash up there to see if you can push the opper off of that angle. Or if you're not worried about an opper and you guys are just running up, you can throw the flash through there. Somebody might shoot it, somebody might not shoot. If they shoot it, you know they're there and you should be ready to take a fight. If they don't shoot it, why not pop it and try getting anybody on this other side? Or if the defenders like to play back site, give them one of these. Once you get the bomb down, we basically just set up our little defense on the site for post plant. So something I like doing is that if the Viper wall is here and we have back site control, I'll run up, throw this wall, while the Viper wall's still covering this. I'll throw down my barbed wire. If you do happen to have your flash in post plant, it's going to be super helpful, but you have to tell your teammates where you're placing it because it will easily blind them. So the few times I have had my flash on this retake, let's take it, throw it right there. As you know, the flood usually starts from heaven in here. These guys will be walking out like this, looking this way. I'll be looking down here. That flash goes off. You swing over here, you take this fight. So to sum it all up, I think Vyse is a pretty decent agent. I don't think she's overpowered. I don't think she's underpowered. Obviously, with Vyse being a sentinel, your impact is going to vary. You're not going to be solo carrying games with Vyse. So if you're one of those guys who needs to be on the solo carry agents or whatever, just keep blocking bullets. All right, like, don't play sentinel. Vyse is not it for you. But if you're more of a support player, such as myself, I think Vyse is a pretty strong agent for you. There's a lot of scenarios where you can put Vyse that the other team will not have an answer for because they haven't seen it. That's one of the great things I like about Vyse is that people just aren't used to seeing a good Vyse. So if you actually know how to play the agent well, you're going to have a lot of success. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you played Vyse? Have you played against the Vyse? Do you think Vyse is broken or do you think Vyse is garbage? But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
One and two.
Oh, no, I got flash here. Don't restart.
Wait, do you want it or not?
No.
No.
Bad bow smoke. Oh my god. All three to the left.
Oh my god.
Let's go there.